from the frozen tundras of the Alpha Flight landscape all the way down to the mutant haven of Utopia, we want to hear your nerd shout. And today, we're shouting about S.H.I.E.L.D. Hey guys, this is Kevin Becker coming at you through the interwebs with the rest of the nerdSHOUT team. And you know what? I'm wondering, who are they? Who are you?
Hey guys, it's Demetris Hartman. Welcome back to nerdSHOUT. Let's talk about this episode because it's pretty fucking sick.
Hey gang, Mark Cirillo here. I have nothing clever to say.
Hey everyone, it's Keyla Teixeira. It's really great to be back this week. I hope you didn't miss me too much.
Thank you all for joining us again for our Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. after show right here on nerdSHOUT. Alright, I'm going to come up with a different way to say it every week. nerdSHOUT Network.
nerdSHOUT Social Network.
nerdSHOUT, yep.
So, nerdSHOUT Social Media Network.
Welcome, guys.
But thank you guys very much for coming back. Let's talk about this newest episode of Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Mm-hmm.
So, a lot of big stuff happening. Moving forward with the... with the
Inhuman spotlight.
We're in a good place, guys.
We're in a great place.
Especially Mark.
You're like into the intro, and then you're like moving forward, and I was like, we haven't done anything yet.
Then it would have to be forward. So, one of the first things I want to talk about before we dive in, there's a lot of Inhuman stuff to talk about, but let's go ahead and talk about, we had a bit of a stall, let's call it, in the real S.H.I.E.L.D. We got to see more interaction between Gonzalez and our normal team, him working with May, and May being amazing, like always.
Yep, amazing May.
But let's talk about Bobby for a second.
I was just going to say, I think Bobby's always amazing, and I know you've changed your opinion on her. You're done with her.
No, I'm not, actually. I'm not done with her, and I was almost done with Simmons until she, turned.
Yeah, we were saying that actually
so
right with that. Yeah, I know we'll
get to that
ahead, but so Bobby, I'm fighting for Bobby. Like
I love Bobby.
She's clearly the one that has the most reservations about what they've done, but because of how it's affecting people that she's connected with and worked with and knows are good people. And she knows they're good. They weren't doing anything wrong.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that Bobby is still on the Gonzalez train at the end of this episode. I was ready, seeing her responses and her reactions, for her to just be like, screw you, Edwin James, almost, and be like, whoa, you broke character. What's happening?
I'm out of here.
That might be coming, or it might be that this is where she's going to be. She's going to be riding the line the whole time because she understands both sides. Like, she gets both sides and is just trying to do what's best for the world.
Which I think is really
save the
interesting.
world.
Yeah, and I think, with this course that they've taken with her character, I can almost, from my perspective, guarantee that she's going to be in the next season of the show.
Yeah.
Like,
unless they move her to the movies and then she doesn't come back. They're just like, you know what? We realize she's a movie star.
Not yet. At least one more year of Mockingbird on this show.
Yeah.
She elevates it a lot, and I really love this line that she's treading. It's almost like kind of having this, Spider-Man in Civil War, kind of being, pulled into both sides.
Absolutely.
And I really love that with her. She's a great character, and just keep it going, guys.
Kayla, oh dear Kayla, what do you think about Bobby and where she's going to stand on the S.H.I.E.L.D. versus S.H.I.E.L.D. combat currently going on?
Bobby!
Bobby!
This whole Bobby and Bobby situation on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I'm really loving to see that Bobby ultimately is not liking what Gonzalez is doing. The last episode, she did stand up for Skye, and I wasn't in last week's after show, which really broke my heart a little bit because that moment with Skye and when it was intense. But this week's episode, focus. I really love to see that Bobby is standing up for Skye, and she is standing up for Coulson and his team and Coulson's morals. Gonzalez is doing this thing where he's always trying to justify his actions by demeaning Coulson more and more. Especially this week when he mentioned that Coulson should be added to the index because of the DGH325, I can't remember the numbers, I think I got it right, that's in his blood, and just now he's considered to be something that would be added to the index, which makes a little bit of sense, but kind of not any sense, I don't know. But Bobby will stick around with, I believe that Bobby will stick around after this whole Real Shield business is done. Bobby's going to stick around with Coulson's team. I mean, she is a series regular, so we have to take that into consideration. Plus, the thing I've been trying to theorize in my head and kind of come up with is like, I strongly believe, obviously, that Coulson's going to get back S.H.I.E.L.D. and control of S.H.I.E.L.D., but something has to happen there, like, afterwards. Like, what's going to happen with Gonzalez? Like, what's the fallout that's going to happen? I mean, we talked about, I think we briefly talked about, like, in 2 after shows ago, I don't know, one of the after shows we briefly talked about Real S.H.I.E.L.D. possibly becoming something else. I don't know, but I guess that's a discussion for later. But I'm really trying to come up with something in my head that would make sense of like what will happen to Gonzalez after Coulson does get back control of S.H.I.E.L.D. But for now, with the whole Bobby situation and Real S.H.I.E.L.D., Bobby's seeing their true colors, so she's definitely on Coulson's side, I think.
That's actually a really good point. That's why I think that Gonzalez is more than meets the eye. He is, in fact, a Transformer.
What if we find out that he's an LMD that didn't know about it?
Yeah, it's like one of those things. That's why I think, because I don't believe that the two of them can cohabitate the Earth, you know?
With him and Coulson?
You mean they can't, you can't have both of them in one shield?
Yeah.
Like that can't, yeah.
Well, you did before it fell.
You did, but you had a Fury on top of them. Like
exactly. Who is playing them both for whatever reason, I guess we'll find out.
And now you've got both of them vying for control.
He's playing them, though.
I don't think he's playing them right now.
I think that,
I think Gonzalez is playing a bunch of people.
Yeah. You think, I really feel this Real S.H.I.E.L.D. thing as a whole charade?
There's something... He's so anti-powers that there's something, I don't know.
Something there.
What do you guys think Gonzalez is up to? We'd love to hear it.
He's been a silent.
Let us know your little theories.
Spoilers! I haven't watched Farscape. Sorry, I'm on a NerdSHOUT network.
People just broke their computers.
I have watched Battlestar.
They've got it all on Netflix, right? So go watch it.
Exactly. Watch both of them. Alright, so, since we're talking about Real S.H.I.E.L.D., let's go ahead and talk about my absolute favorite moment of the episode. We'll stay with the humans before we go to the Inhumans.
Okay.
It's the return of Fitzsimmons.
Yes! It was golden. It was pure gold.
Yay!
Pure gold.
To Fitzsimmons.
Cheers to Fitzsimmons being back.
Oh, I loved it. Here's the thing. I love them like family. I love that you started like you were saying.
No, you just stopped after.
And it was beautiful. Like the switch, and then the sandwich.
The sandwich.
Well, but like
because it went back to an episode that was like it was okay back in the first season.
Yeah.
And it just took a line that was something that was put back then and brought it back. Yeah. And it made it significant for the whole storyline.
Sequence of events with Fitz and Simmons where she gets the idea for the plan. He then realizes what the whole sequence, and then it means them getting what each other need, and it was like, okay, now Fitzsimmons is his own shield.
They're breaking apart. This is what we said.
Shield, Fitzsimmons shield,
the real shield. Ward 33 shield.
Yeah. Ward's Warriors.
Ward's Warriors.
And then the Lincoln Lobbyists that you want to start.
They don't know about this yet.
I know. I'm bringing it
gotten to Lincoln yet.
That's fair. But
I'm going to start my own Twitter with
the real Lincoln.
In the vein of Ward's Warriors, which is going to be just for lobbyists for Lincoln.
Abraham Lincoln.
Fourscore.
But here's the thing. I loved this because we were watching it, and the scene where he picks up the toolbox and he's, you want me to leave? And Mark's like, I think they're acting, but I'm not sure. And here's what I'm thinking that they did. If it is a biometric opener, that they need a DNA sequence, he made sure to pick it up because he knew he was going to take it so that she could put his DNA strand in it so that it would recognize him as an authorized user.
But he's not authorized.
But if she's figuring it out, because she was sending him the like, hey, I'm working on this program.
The beta, she could reconfigure it.
By him touching it, she could theoretically get into the system and go this and give him access so that he can have it.
Which I'm wondering, how did he know to do that?
It's because Fitz is back, baby.
Because
that's
geniuses.
What it is. Fitz is fucking back, and I'm so happy about that. Like,
because at first we were thinking he was like switching the boxes, but I'm pretty sure that he only got it because
he did do that weird juggling thing, but we did all get to see it.
Yeah, but Simmons put it in his bag.
He's evolved though into a slightly different character. It's like a Simmons. It's like a Fitz 2.0 essentially.
Well, because
he's recovered.
We've talked about how Simmons has changed this season as well. And we were right before this scene happened. We were like, don't like her anymore.
I was still
over.
Yeah, I was still with her.
No, I know. I was still enjoying it. I just wanted to see where
I love my Fitzsimmons. Yeah. And even if they go through some hard times,
you have to stay with them.
Yes.
Through good and bad, sickness and health.
Kayla,
we're married to them.
What's your response to the Switch Simmons that happened?
I know you're another big Fitzsimmons person.
I'm gonna combine words
too.
What do you think, kiddo?
Oh, Fitzsimmons. I think all of us were just super happy inside when Fitzsimmons was their usual selves again. It's just the thing that, I mean, is this going to last for the long haul, or is this just like a temporary thing because they obviously needed to like come together to try to get out of the situation with Real S.H.I.E.L.D. So I'm really interested in seeing if like this whole Fitzsimmons dynamic is permanent, or they're just like ignoring their problems for now and then they'll deal with it later. I don't know, but I love it. All of us love it, especially that sandwich situation was hilarious. The thing that I'm wondering though, I felt like you guys mentioned it, I felt like Mac did smell a little bit of bullshit when Fitz and Simmons were doing their whole spiel and a whole like argument. I felt like Mac probably knew a little bit. Maybe he wasn't completely convinced. And Mac and Fitz are friends, and well, used to be friends, but Mac cares about Fitz. So I'm wondering if Fitz is going to end up, if Mac is going to, or did, put a tracker on Fitz, and just to keep an eye on him, and when they figure out that the toolbox is gone, Mac will go after Fitz. Maybe that's a possibility, but I guess we won't find out until next episode.
Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. What?
No, I just said the same thing.
I know. Yeah, but we weren't recording when you said it. So, Mark, why do you like it?
Oh, well, I liked that she brought up the Mac thing, because there did seem like a moment where at the end of that whole scene with Simmons being like, oh, we can't do this, and they look at each other and they're like, we just got played. Like, it's almost like Mac and Bobby might. But you never know with the Whedonverse. It could have just been a look, and then it could have just been like a a sign.
Bobby gave 3 looks during this episode. She gave a look when Simmons was willing to join S.H.I.E.L.D. When she was like, maybe we have to. There was a knowing look. Like, there was a look after the fake out that she seemed to recognize something. I think Bobby knows, and I don't think Bobby cares.
I think she's like, well, let's just see where this goes.
I think Bobby's watching the man who she trusted start to be what they're standing against. There's a lot going on here that it just seems like Gonzalez is not sharing with people, and that's their biggest complaint about Nick Fury. So the fact that he's doing it is got to be a red flag to her.
Right. I mean, like, because he very much resembles everything that they're supposed to be going against. All the secrecy and everything. The fact that he went behind their backs. I don't think that like our S.H.I.E.L.D. would have held back if they knew that there were other S.H.I.E.L.D. agents out there that they could connect with. They try to join them and try to create this.
Yeah,
this
where it feels like he's been
them.
sitting back and watching them, which is also just creepy. Like, and there's like a lurky, creepy level.
There's also the point that one of their board members went after a fellow S.H.I.E.L.D. agent with a live ammo gun last week.
Yeah,
and we get to see Coulson put away a live ammo gun. Like there are great parallels being drawn.
Yeah,
but we've talked enough about the humans.
Really
I think.
Point. Yeah. Well. I think so. I think it's time. I think it's time that we get back into the Inhuman art.
It's time. We have gone to Afterlife. We have gone to the Inhuman.
Talking about Afterlife. Skye's mom is back.
She is.
Yes.
But before we get to Skye's mom...
I was just going to say, are we ready to talk about that?
We're not. Before we get to Skye's mom, there's obviously something bigger going on with this whole scenario. Yeah. Many of you tweeted to us talking about Gordon. Some we've called creepy and things. And he is. There's a lot more to Gordon this episode that
meets the eye.
Oh, Jesus.
I can't. Keep going. Keep going.
Just don't.
There's a lot more to Gordon this episode that is more insidious than we would have. I'm not even going to acknowledge it. Than we have seen before. We have seen a very caring, very nurturing Gordon to this point, who, yes, is apparently not Reader. I've been saying Reader for a long time. I haven't read Uncanny Inhumans yet. I haven't gotten a chance to. But it was pointed out to us that there is a character in Uncanny Inhumans whose name is Gordon. He's got no eyes. Okay. Now,
that's a weird.
It was very. I was very surprised that actually happened. That he went so kind of under the radar as an introduction of such an important character now in the show. But I'm glad that they introduced him. Yeah. I still wish it could have been Reader, because that would have been a really cool character to kind of like have him even evolve into throughout the show.
See how it would tie into everything.
Yeah, but we'll see where it goes, because there's a lot going on, and it might be that they have film.
And it's also a cinematic universe, so they could combine those two characters.
Oh, absolutely. You don't know. They can combine the characters. They can bring the other character, because if he's one that finds other Inhumans out there in the world, I'm sure that there are probably other groups of Inhumans out there that have a similar way of tracking others.
Mm-hmm. It seems like there definitely is. Like, I don't think these guys are connected to the royal family that we'll see in the film.
Exactly, and Reader is more linked to the royal
family. Yeah, that's why I'm thinking he's probably.
Oh, maybe they're telling us that there's a lot of characters like Reader.
Maybe.
That's what I mean.
We're finding out.
That's what I mean.
But the interesting thing about it is there's obviously something bigger going on. They're hiding things from Skye. Lincoln, who we've just now met, is being super evasive.
And you want to love him, but he was being a little evasive. And
it brings us to our first question from the Twitter box. Twitter box. Alright, this comes from at KJ McDude, and KJ asks, so does this mean that the Inhumans Genetic Council are the elders that Lincoln was talking about? So we hear about these elders, and we hear about how they keep people safe, and do we think they're the Genetic Council, and what do they think, and what do we think they're up to?
I'm starting to feel, and I mean, I think that's why I brought up Skye's mom first, because I'm so excited she's back. I think she is the equivalent of their genetic council, of this group's genetic council. If not, like the entire group of people, because she's just one person, then maybe she is part of the actual genetic council in the comic books, but she represents this group of Inhumans, I think, and that's why she said to Cal's, no. She made the final decision when he says, "Can I see her?" She just said no. She said it very cold.
Yeah.
So she is the person that's making the decision. Yeah, exactly. End of scene. She's the person making the decisions in this place. So I think that she is who we're going with.
I think we're dealing with an isolationist government with people who maybe aren't as isolationist. I was having a conversation on the YouTube comments on last week's episode about I don't want them to be bad guys. We made the parallel between I would prefer them to be the Xavier Institute versus the Brotherhood of Evil, which are not my words, but were a commenter's. And I agree with that. I don't mind if their leadership is flawed and scared and hides, and is a little insidious that way, but I don't want everyone. Like, Lincoln's obviously doing his job. Yeah, he's doing what he thinks to keep people safe.
Yeah. And doing it well.
Yeah, he is. So pro Lincoln. LincolnLobbyist.com.
But I mean, he didn't, we realized how evasive he was being in the comment that he
very
made.
Suave in the way that he was
But it was so smooth. Yeah.
That even
Skye,
that's what I meant. A spy, didn't notice it.
So I think that they're not, I don't think that they're evil at this point.
No, I think they're scared.
They're either scared or they've grown to be so isolationist, to be like another part living in parallel to the rest of humanity, that it serves them much better to, not live out in the open.
Which is, I think, is interesting right now, because the groups that we have, like Real S.H.I.E.L.D., S.H.I.E.L.D., and the Inhumans, it feels like all of these teams, what they seem to be setting up is that they all think they're doing the right thing.
Yes.
Right. Like, they all think they're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Which I think is really interesting. And so none of them are necessarily bad or wrong right now.
They just have this order. That's why they have the royal family as well. They have this kind of order, hierarchy, or oligarchy, if you will.
And I have a question about that, because I'm not super well versed on Inhumans. So, like, is the royal family, like, is there a bunch of Inhuman communities that are isolationist in the comic books?
Well, they live
like, that are separated in the comic books, but then, like, there's a royal family that kind of keeps track of all of them?
Essentially, like they come from a very long bloodline of very pure Inhumans from the very past, from the very beginning of the first experiments that existed, and so that's kind of what makes them different. So they get to, not just them, but the genetic council pick very finally which genes get passed on.
Oh, right. That's right. We've talked about that before, Sorry for people that already knew that, or just cut it out completely.
It's staying in. It's educational. Kayla, do you want to weigh in? What do you think is going on with the Inhuman leaders? Are they isolationists? Are they jerkbags? Are they puppets on strings?
Jerkbag.
Are you even still awake?
I think the Inhumans for now are looking to isolate themselves. They definitely want to keep it a secret because, I mean, especially with like what happened with Skye's mom and how she was like dissected and experimented on. I definitely think that that's probably something they have to have dealt with before. So they want to keep themselves isolated and protected and hidden away from other humans because I'm pretty sure I don't know if they're afraid. They're probably afraid. I take that back. I think the Inhumans, whoever's controlling them, which I'm guessing is the elders or the genetic council, I think they definitely want to keep the Inhumans isolated. But we know that's not going to last very long because we do have an Inhumans movie coming out in a few years. So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I 100% agree. Now, since we're talking about the Inhumans, we cannot skip over the giant revelation that is Skye's mom still being around. And one of the big questions on our Twitter box, we got several versions of this question, so let's go ahead and check it out. The one I want to read because it has so many reactions in it, and I love it, comes from @Theo F. Simon. And Theo says, barely alive, how is Skye's mother alive? 2 question marks. I'm so happy about it, but how? 2 question marks. How do you think Skye will find out? Single question mark.
Well, she's going to tell him.
So here's the deal. I think
it's going to happen next episode.
I think it's going to happen next episode because she says, I want a couple days with you, and if you don't feel a connection worth it exploring. But the question is, we discussed this a little bit last episode, how is she still here?
Well, this is what I said last episode, that I think that she has the equivalent of the healing factor that Wolverine has, and that's what helped her
rebuttal.
Well, I was just going to say Coulson survived death. Why wouldn't it be the same way?
Exactly. That's what I also wanted to add. Because they were created by the Kree as well, I'd assume that they either have access to other Kree technology, or possibly even Kree blood, which is what the GH325 formula was made out of, and that's what they used to bring back Coulson. So they could have just as well used that to regrow organs, vital organs, and stuff like that. But she didn't come out unscathed. She has a few scars, even though she looks super gorgeous.
I do not think it's a healing factor, and it's because of those scars.
You think so?
I was thinking the scars, I was like, if there's a healing factor, then she wouldn't have the scars.
Because I'd say, though...
She looks like a Frankenstein monster, but she looks like she was put back together, and I think that's a conscious choice.
Yeah, like I was gonna say, because she was like skinned basically, and like they took all of her organs out of her and everything.
Because what I was gonna say is that, like, for example, Wade Wilson, Deadpool, he's covered in scars. His healing factor does not repair or replenish the skin.
Wade's healing factor was given to him later, wasn't it?
I mean, it could have equally have cured though.
Yeah. It was like given to him so he would.
But not all of them. Not all of the scars are created. A lot of the scars remain. Basically, his tissue regrows, but you still see the marks on it. That's why he's constantly always covered.
Yeah,
as well.
I don't know. I feel like she was put back together. I feel like that perhaps she's needed, or. I mean, if I'm gonna look at this super scientifically, which is what I did last episode, if she is put back together, she has had, what are we aging Skye at, 20-some years?
Sure.
Let's say mid-20, like a 20 and a half years around.
Yeah.
So...
Daisy didn't like that answer.
Daisy's like,
she's
science.
Like, she's 30 today. Sorry, my dog chimed in.
She's 30.
She just groans when she's unhappy. She doesn't agree.
I'm lost it. Okay, so if the way that she doesn't age is that her cells don't regenerate as quickly, theoretically, the regenesis taking over the scar tissue could go slower, causing her to still have scars after 20-some years. I think I'm not a biologist.
I was just going to say we're getting super scientific. Kind of. It's like
science,
armchair
science. It was like you guys asking me, like, why do you think that they did the biometric thing? Because that's what I do when I play D&D type stuff. Like, I don't know. But...
You gotta think of the details.
You gotta think of how I would do things when I play Star Wars Edge of Empire. But I don't know. I think that there are two options. They brought her back to me. There are more options than this. There are two options to me. That the genetic council, the elders, whoever it is, brought her back. There are three options. That she grew back herself. I skipped that one. And the third one is that Cal rebuilt her. That Cal has been putting her back together because he loves her so very, very much.
And that makes total sense. He can have like his own Frankenstein kind of thing.
Because
he's Mr. Hyde.
He's obviously been finding Skye for them. He says, I found her like I promised. But he also says to Gordon early in their episode, after everything I've done, you treat me like an animal? Did they bring him here and let him live because he could fix Skye's mom?
Oh, so like, yeah.
Well, he clearly lived in that village that Whitehall went to.
Yes.
And I'm pretty sure that there were a significant amount of the population that were Inhumans. So he probably was a doctor there. That's probably why they let him into their community. And that's really good, though. I really like that because that makes total sense.
But don't you think his like reactions and his crazy revenge and being so upset he didn't get the guy that like killed him himself?
Yeah, I'm saying he didn't.
Mad.
I'm saying he didn't rebuild her until after he got to Afterlife.
Oh, that would have been real fast.
Yeah.
And wouldn't she have had to been rebuilt, I would think, soon after she was massacred?
If she doesn't
Isn't that kind of part of it?
If she doesn't age, does she decompose at the same rate?
Well, she's been drained out of all her blood and stuff like that. Well, that's a big question, and hopefully they'll answer it in the next few episodes. That'll be awesome. Yeah. It looks like next week is going to be kind of like a flashback episode a lot. Maybe, we're going to find out about Bahrain.
It looks like. We're hoping. Yeah. Kayla, weigh in. What do you think about Mama Skye?
I'm definitely going to disagree with the theory that Cal put back together Skye's mom, because I feel like that is, one, way too soon. If that actually happened, I feel like she would need much more time mentally and physically to come back to the real world, some like time in rehab or something, because that's a pretty traumatic experience for somebody to be put back together. So I don't think the timelines fit correctly in that. Another thing is, I was chatting with somebody online, and this might be a really like far out theory, but I like it because I like the twist of it. What if that's not really Skye's mom, and it's like a member of the elders, aka the Genetic Council, because I'm thinking it's Genetic Council, aka the Genetic Council. What if somebody from there disguise themselves, or like has the ability to like make themselves look like somebody else? What if they disguise themselves as Skye's mom purely for them to because they know the connection that the mom, I can't remember her name, has with Cal and of course Skye, because I think the Genetic Council know that Skye is, I don't want to say a threat, but a threat to exposure of their kind to the rest of the world. So I wouldn't be surprised if that theory might be true, that one of them is disguise themselves to look like Skye's mom, but it may be a little far out, maybe a little too much of a twist for right now. I mean, we already got the twist that she's alive, so to put another twist on top of that, I don't know. But I'm interested in finding out how she is alive and what's up with, I mean, did somebody put her back together? I don't know.
I actually am glad that she brought that up, because I think that's what was bothering me about some of these theories, is that Skye's mom, if it is her, like, seems like she's been around a long time. Yeah, like, she definitely, the way she talked, and she seems like a part of the community. Like, no, she's been there for a while. If she was rebuilt, it was right after her death.
She's a celebrity, if you will.
Yeah.
But I don't really think
she's well known, a local celebrity.
She's not the Kim Kardashian of the Inhumans, people.
Woo!
No, a local small town celebrity.
Skye's mom. But I like the theory that she might not be actually Skye's mom, as somebody disguised as her because they want to keep that familiarity.
We have that technology, but it's still familiarity for who?
It doesn't even have to be the technology.
Because Skye doesn't know it's her mom.
It just could be another Inhuman that can transform herself.
Yeah.
That's true. That's all.
It feels cheap to me. Like, Skye's mom's back. It wasn't me at all. It feels like... It feels not...
Healing.
Yeah.
It doesn't
I don't really feel like Scooby-Dooing my way through the Elders Council. You know what I mean?
You don't want to do the old switcheroo kind of thing.
There's just... They've been doing so well, I would feel like a... reveal would be so season 1.
Yeah.
But if I've killed Mark. If handled correctly, I could see it happening. But it would
have to really be handled correctly.
For me, is what feels wrong.
Without feeling like the end of a Scooby-Doo episode.
I agree. I'm just
or a season 1 episode.
All right, so the other thing I want to mention very briefly, because there's not really, we could theorize all day, and one of our followers was like, how are you guys going to talk about this in one episode? you have no idea the editing process that goes on in my brain when I'm like, what are we going to talk about? There's so much cool stuff on the show. Is we know what we're about to get to is the coolest team up I think we've seen in a while on this show is Phil Coulson, Lance Hunter, Deathlock, who came back in the coolest way possible.
That's right.
I forgot he was coming back this season, and he like grabs the ramp, and I'm just like, is it the Hulk? It's the Hulk.
Oh my god!
For a second, there was like, but the fingers weren't.
Yeah, I was like, who's strong enough to pull down a plane?
Agent Deathlock.
And Deathlock, awesome.
Half of the characters in the Marvel universe.
And shut up. And
Civil War is happening right now.
And then they're teaming up with, and we didn't get very many votes. Guys, you can still vote. Name the team. Grant Ward.
What's your favorite team?
Agent 33, and Bakshi. So this team up of 3 and 3
brainwashed Bakshi.
Yeah, well, we don't know exactly what they did
for them. That's a great idea.
I know.
We need to come up with a name for this team.
Yes, we definitely do, because I love the desperate measures that they're taking, and I am so excited because they didn't reconcile. Coulson and Ward didn't reconcile really at the end of the first half of the season. He was shot, and Coulson booked it, like to try to save Skye. So there's. And then Deathlock and Ward have a history as well. Yeah. And Hunter is hysterical, so he's there.
So it's going to be a very, like, unstable...
Thank God he is.
It's going to be a very unstable group, but they're all very capable.
Yeah, it's a lot of wonderful and differently specialized people. It is kind of like the Mirror Universe version of his original team at the beginning of season 1, because you've got like this really diverse group of people.
It's a very Suicide Squad type team.
Yes,
I know, wrong universe.
It's going to be like S.H.I.E.L.D. Dark or something.
Yeah, it's a S.H.I.E.L.D. Dark for those days.
Coulson's comrades.
Coulson's You're full of team names today.
I'm good at that.
So I'm super excited about that. I could sit here and talk about the things that I think they're going to do and the inevitable buildings that they're going to blow up, but
why waste all of our time?
Yeah,
you can only imagine, but it's awesome that it's actually happening.
So let's go ahead and take it to the Twitter box for one last question.
Let's see what you want us to talk about.
Our nerd shout out to end this episode comes from @by7the7c. And
which is Susan Andrews.
Yeah. And Susan asks us, and I'm going to open this up to the whole community, who would win in a showdown between Lincoln and Deathlock? Lincoln,
Science,
who has electrical powers, and Deathlock, who is a newly upgraded cyborg.
Right.
Will the hold on. Ooh. What are you going to say?
With the rockets that he has?
With the rockets?
Oh my god.
Oh, that's right. Those rockets are pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, though, Lincoln, he looks like he has...
Black Widows.
He looks like he has a rein on his powers, but... he's not trained as an agent. So I'm just throwing that out there. Deathlock can read and find every single person's weaknesses with a scanner before the battle even begins, essentially, now.
Yeah,
he knows how to do that.
He's also half computer, and this guy controls electricity.
That's true. I know.
He already knows his weakness because he's half that weakness. Visually.
But what if he blows him up
Let's see what
he uses his powers?
Let's see
I'm
what
just being devil's advocate.
I know, but let's see what Kayla has to say. Kayla, are you Team Lincoln or Team Deathlock?
Deathlock versus Lincoln. I'm going to have to say Deathlock because he's badass and I love the costume change. But I have my speculations because I feel like Lincoln can definitely short circuit Deathlock in a fight. But Deathlock's badass, so he's going to win. Yeah, Deathlock, I think.
Yes.
Okay, so here's how I'm going to put it. I'm going to open it up to you guys because will the magical electrical man take out the cyborg, or will technology harness the power of electrons to reign supreme? Join us next time on the same S.H.I.E.L.D. channel, same S.H.I.E.L.D. time. I've always wanted to do that.
I was going to say, was that a throw out to Batman 66? At Batman 66. Just a cool podcast. Batmania 68.
We've both been on it.
Yes,
but keep sending us these awesome questions. Send us hashtag Team Lincoln, hashtag Team Deathlock, hashtag Team Hunter if you think he's going to come in and beat them both. Whatever you want
Just
to do.
Just hashtag Team Lincoln for whatever reason you want.
Let's work on Lincoln's lobbyists for Mark.
For all the reasons you want to.
Thank you to all of you who have been super supportive to us over here at nerdSHOUT. Thank you to Level 7 Podcast. You can find them at Level 7 Access Pod on Twitter. Thank you to our friends the Ward Warriors, whose fantastic alliteration has inspired Mark in wonderful ways. And we are super excited to talk to you guys next week when we get to see Ward and Coulson back together. I'm sure we're going to be talking a bunch about that. And thank you, as always, to our good friends over at S.H.I.E.L.D. Radio. You can find them at S.H.I.E.L.D. Radio on Twitter, or you can find them at I messed it up for the first time in like 8 months. All right, at www.helicarrierpodcast.com. And you can definitely see all of the very, very cool stuff that they're talking about. They're friends of us. We love the conversation. If you like what we do, check them out. Also, if you don't know this, Daredevil comes out this week.
It's Friday.
You didn't know?
That's right, I forgot. It's Friday.
You're a professional.
All space and time.
But let us know if you're excited for Daredevil, what you're excited to see, and maybe we'll talk to you guys about it here on nerdSHOUT.
Perhaps.
We don't know.
We've got something going.
Probably. So thank you guys very, very much. And remember, as always, we want to hear your nerd shout. Ooh, yeah.
Shout! Bye, guys.
Peace out.
Hi! We just have to do them all like this.
Yeah. I'm an actor.